viernes, I'm Rory, it is Friday, and I'm glad to be with you. Now, if you've been following these regular lessons, you know that last week I promised that I was going to come to you from my storage room that I've been using as an office because I'm still working on the office. Well, Leslie commented that. She's like, absolutely not. You may not broadcast video from the storage room. So get your crap together. Got a couple coats of lacquer on the big butcher block that will go here, and we're all ready. The cabinet base is set, so hopefully it'll be done soon. But anyway, I'm glad to be with you. Today we're looking at the topic complementos indirectos, so indirect objects. And these are the mays, some of the mays and all of the lays and some of the noses and definitely all of the lays that you hear thrown around in speech and that likely get a little mixed up in your head. A while ago we looked at the direct object pronouns, and so if you weren't here for that lesson, go ahead and scroll through the feed here or jump on YouTube and you'll be able to see that lesson more specifically. So direct objects and indirect objects, these are a little tricky, however they're super common and it's worth you getting the hang of them so you can know how to use them. So that's what we're looking at today, los complementos indirectos. Bien, so you are familiar with these even if you've never studied it before, even with a simple verb like doler, the verb to have pain or cause pain. So, me duele, you've heard me duele, right? Me duele la luz brillante. Today we're talking luz brillante. We've had some migraines in my house here this week. So, la luz brillante, bright lights. Me duele la luz brillante. Bright lights hurt me or cause pain to me, ¿verdad? Te duele la luz brillante. Bright lights cause pain to you. Te, this is the tu form, so the informal you, right? So te duele. And then a question, le duele? You're probably familiar with this. It's just like asking tiene dolor, but it's le duele. Does this or that hurt, ¿verdad? Le duele la luz brillante? Do bright lights hurt? Bien. So we've got hurt me, hurt you, and could be hurt you, usted, or hurt él or ella, right? Because the lay is going to always match up with usted, él, or ella. But what about we and they? Well, we and they are subjects, so really what we're talking about is us and them. So what about us and them? Bright lights hurt us. Bright lights hurt them. How do you do that? We've been using these complementos indirectos so far with duele, and duele is going to remain the same, but now we need an equivalent of these for us and for them. Do you know what they are? Us is nos. Nos duele la luz brillante. Nos duele. So the light causes pain to us. Nos duele. What about them? Les. Les duele la luz brillante. So again, la luz brillante, bright light, hurts them. ¿Verdad? Or you all. Could be ustedes also. Okay, bien. Duele is a common verb where you've seen indirect object pronouns be used a lot. We're going to look at these specifically, but for now, just trying to connect with what you've seen and heard in the past. Gustar is also a really common one that you've heard of. No me gustan las vitaminas. No, so here's a negative. The negative is going to go before, right? No me gustan las vitaminas. Vitamins are not pleasing to me. No te gustan las vitaminas. Vitamins are not pleasing to you. No le gustan. Vitamins are not pleasing to him or to her or usted, you. How about we and they? Well, again, it's not really we and they because those are subjects. It's going to be us and them. So we've got us and them, and it's going to be just like we did here. If we essentially in English want to say that they don't like vitamins, then we have to say vitamins are not pleasing to them. ¿verdad? That's just the way it's set up. So, that's this one. No les gustan las vitaminas. And vitamins, how about we don't like vitamins? So vitamins are not pleasing to us, is how this is set up. So no nos gustan las vitaminas. Okay. Now, a quick observation. Here we have gustan, plural, and here we have duele, singular. What's the difference? It clearly does not relate to the person, right? Because here nos is plural, but it's still duele. Les is plural, but it's still duele. And here me is singular, but it's still gustan, plural. What's going on? What is driving these verbs? Well, the subject is driving the verbs, just like always, except that in English the subject is, well, it's actually still bright light. Bright light hurts me, so the subject is bright light. This one's much easier to see than the other. Down here, bright lights hurt me. Bright lights hurt you. Bright light hurts him. Do bright lights hurt him? Okay. Down here, in English, we say, I don't like vitamins, and I is the subject. But in Spanish, it's different. In Spanish, vitamins is the subject, just like bright lights is the subject here. So, las vitaminas requires this to be plural in the gustan. And la luz brillante requires duele to be in the singular. Just an observation that these are not subjects. The me, te, le, nos, and les, these are not subjects, these are objects. Something else is the subject of the verb. All right, let's dive into a little more specifics here. ¿Qué es el complemento indirecto? ¿Qué es? What is it, and how do you know if you're going to use it or not? Well, first of all, when we talk indirect objects, we're always talking direct objects too, because there's a contrast between the two. So, el complemento directo is the what of the verb. So if you could ask what about a verb or an action, and you get an answer, that's probably the direct object. We're going to see some examples here very quickly. But there's a whole lesson that we did. It's like a 20-some minute lesson, a little long. But there's a whole lesson you can go back and take a look at here in the Facebook group or on YouTube as well. El complemento indirecto is not the what. It's the to whom or the for whom. So it's kind of the direction in which the action or the what is going, right? So the verbs do action. Often they do actions onto an object, onto a direct object, and then who that's being done for or being done to is usually the indirect object. We're going to see it pretty clear here in a minute when we take a look at another example. But for now, let's just make sure we know what the indirect object pronouns are. So we saw them previously that they are me, te, le, nos, and les. These are all directly from our previous examples right here. Me gustan, te gustan, le gustan, nos gustan, and then les gustan, right? So these all come directly from those examples. These are indirect object pronouns. They're not subjects, but you could categorize it and connect it to a subject so that you understand which to use when. So me is going to relate to yo, right? Te is going to relate to. Le, who's le going to relate to? It's three subjects that le will relate to, and they're all singular. That's why it's le versus the other one, which is les. So which three does it relate to? It relates to usted, it relates to él, and it relates to ella. Okay? And so, yo is I, but if we use this indirect object, now we're saying me. Tu is you, and the te is also you, but not the subject you, the object you. Usted is you, so very similar to this one. Él and ella, so él is he, but when it's the object, it's him. Ella is she, but when it's the object, it's her. Nos is us, but it relates to the subject we, which is nosotros. Les is them, but it relates to ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Ellos, ellas, ustedes. Bien. Okay. So los complementos indirectos are to whom or for whom an action is being done. So let's look at some ejemplos and see how it works in real frases using el verbo dar, which is el verbo to give. El verbo dar. So usted da una inyección a su hijo. You give an injection to your son. Bien. So we could take a look at this sentence and we know who the subject is, usted. We know what the verb is, da, which is the verb dar, right? What's being given? Una inyección. That's the direct object, okay? Usted da una inyección. Gives what? Una inyección. An injection. To whom? A su hijo. A su hijo. That's the indirect object. So, a su hijo. Of these options here, which is the one you'll select? Which is the pronoun that you would use to substitute for a su hijo? Well, it's singular, we know that, and it's masculine, we know that, okay, and it's not me or you, so it's going to be le. It's going to be le. It's like el, right? It's like el, so it's going to be le. Usted, and when we use the pronombre, we would stick it right here. Usted le da una inyección. And this is no longer required. Usted le da una inyección. Okay, let's do another one. Nosotros damos atención médica a los pacientes. We give care or health care to patients. What's being given? Atención médica, direct object. To whom? A los pacientes, indirect object. So, this one is now plural. A los pacientes. This is plural. So which one's it going to be? Which will we substitute it with? Nosotros damos atención médica a los pacientes. That's the indirect object, but what's the proper pronoun to substitute for it? Me? Nope. Te? Nope, it's not you. Le? Kind of maybe, but it's plural. So it's not él or ella. It's actually ellos or ellas because it's a los pacientes. So this becomes les, and where are we going to put it? We're going to stick it right here. Nosotros les damos atención médica. It could stop like that if we already know that we're talking about los pacientes. Okay? Bien. Los pacientes dan su confianza a nosotros. Patients give their trust to us. Okay, what's being given? Su confianza, direct object. To whom? To us. And so what's the to us equivalent? A nosotros is the complemento directo, and if we want to put a pronombre there, which is the one we'll use? A nosotros, it's going to be nos. Nos, a nosotros. Okay, so los pacientes los pacientes nos dan su confianza. This is usually coming right before the verb. Nos dan su confianza. Just like it was here. Me duele, te duele, le duele. It comes right before the verb. Okay, bien. Tú das un regalo a tu amigo. You give a gift to your friend. Okay, what's being given? A gift. What's that? The direct object. To whom? A tu amigo. That's the indirect object. A tu amigo, to your friend. Now, don't be tricked by this tu here. That's just the adjective your, ¿verdad? Your friend. So what would be the proper pronoun to substitute a tu amigo? It's singular and it's masculine. Le. Okay. Tú le das un regalo. Okay. Tú le das un regalo. Perfect. All right. So let's keep going here. Cuando se usa, you might be thinking, well, why would I use the complemento indirecto, the pronombre del complemento indirecto? Why would I use it if it's very clear that we're saying a tu amigo? Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, the first reason is para sustituir y no repetir. If you're continually saying a tu amigo, a tu amigo, a tu amigo, it gets old, right? So you might as well just say le. Okay? Le das un regalo. Bien. Para ser más eficiente. Now, this one is just one of those realities of speech. When we're speaking, we tend to try to be as efficient as possible. And I don't think this is just a guy thing, but you try to communicate your message in as few words as possible. That's just kind of one of the realities of language as a tool in communication, which is probably what makes long-winded people super annoying. Okay, bien, because they just keep talking and keep talking. All right, muy bien. So, those are the two momentos in which you would use the pronombre del complemento indirecto, to substitute or to be more efficient, and to just say it shorter and quicker and easier. So, on a side note, before we look at more practice examples, a couple things to remember about complementos indirectos. Siempre usar el pronombre aun si es repetitivo. Now, the preference for Spanish speakers is to always use the complemento indirecto, the pronombre del complemento indirecto. So, for example, le doy inyecciones de epinefrina a Caleb cuando le pica una abeja. I give to him inyecciones de epinefrina, epi-injections. Now we've clarified who this le means. A Caleb. Caleb es mi hijo, quien tiene alergias a abejas. Cuando le pica una abeja. When a bee stings him. Cuando le pica una abeja. Bien, so even though you didn't know who we were talking about when I started this sentence, le doy, we still include the le, and then we clarify it with a Caleb. The English brain doesn't really get that. The English brain says, well, don't use the le, and just say, doy inyecciones de epinefrina a Caleb cuando le pica una abeja. The English brain doesn't really care about this le, because we already know who we're talking about. But the Spanish brain's different. The Spanish brain is going to use the le all the time because the Spanish brain really likes the le. Even if we don't know who the le refers to yet, we're still going to use it in Spanish because that's just the way people speak. And so, the initial time you use it, you might need to clarify who it is. If it's me, or te, or nos, there's probably zero clarification needed because me can only mean me, te can only mean you, and nos can only mean us. However, le and les usually need some kind of clarification. And again, the English brain doesn't like to be repetitive, but that's how it works in Spanish. People will use the complemento indirecto, the pronombre, even when they're going to specify who it is. Okay. Nunca usar el sujeto para enfatizar. All right. I see this stuff all the time, and I hear this all the time with my students. Yo me gusta. Doesn't work that way because yo is not the subject. Whatever it is we're talking about is the subject. Let's say español. Spanish is the subject, and Spanish is pleasing to me. So we can't do yo, it has to be a mí. A mí me gusta español. And that would be normal to, it sounds very repetitive, but it's normal to emphasize. A mí me gusta el español. Tú te gusta. Nope, can't be, because tú is a subject. What does it have to be? It's going to follow this pattern, but it will be relevant to the forma tú. A ti. A ti te gusta el español. A ti te gusta el español? I think so, which is why you're watching me. Okay. ¿Dónde pones el pronombre? Where does the pronoun go? Where do you put it? You've seen some examples, and usually it comes right before the verb, right? So, antes del verbo conjugado. This is normal. En la mayoría de las situaciones, most situations, it's going to come right before your verbo. So, yo no les doy vitaminas. Les doy vitaminas a mis hijos. Les sirvo, there's your verb, here's your indirecto, and emergency y muchas vitaminas. So, I give to them, it's just a little bit out of order from the English brain, but it comes right before the verbo conjugado. Les doy, les sirvo. Perfecto. Pegado al final de mandatos e infinitivos. So, the first, most common use is that it comes before a conjugated verb. However, there's two exceptions. Well, one exception, it's attached to the end of a command, mandatos, and there's a lesson here on commands too, so scroll through the Facebook or jump over to YouTube, and you'll be able to find it a little easier maybe. Attached to the end of mandatos, commands, and infinitive verbs, so verbs that are not conjugated. In these two cases, it will go to the end of the verb, but in all other cases, it comes before. Okay, bien. So here's a command. Dele, give him, dele, la epinefrina, the epi, inmediatamente después de picarle una abeja. Here we go again. Picarle, a verb unconjugated, and le. Picarle una abeja. So give him the epi immediately after the bee stings him, ¿verdad? Usted necesita darle, again, darle epinefrina e ir directos a la sala de emergencias. So, here's a command example, here's an infinitive example, and another infinitive example. So that's when it gets attached at the end, but in most cases, it's coming before. Alright, let's try some práctica. Take a momento, think about these frases, and we'll review them here. So, nosotros damos baños a los pacientes que necesitan ayuda. We give baths to the patients that need help. Okay. First of all, what are we giving? Baths. To whom? To the patients that need help. Okay. Bien. So how would you redo this frase to use the complemento indirecto? First of all, what's being substituted? Los pacientes que necesitan ayuda. That's the indirect object. That's what's going to get substituted. So, nosotros, and it's going to get a les. Les, because it's plural. Nosotros les damos baños a los pacientes. Or les damos baños. It could stop right there. Nosotros les damos baños. And as long as we know we're talking about patients, we don't have to include anything else. It's just more efficient. We give baths to them. Los pacientes no dan baños a nosotros. Patients don't give baths to us. Okay, what's being given? Baths, or not being given. To whom? To us. And so a nosotros is going to get nos, right? And so los pacientes no nos dan baños. Los pacientes no nos dan baños. Okay. Favor de contar a mí un poco más sobre cómo y cuándo empezó el dolor. Please tell me a little more about how and when the pain started. Okay. Favor de contar a mí un poco más sobre cómo y cuándo empezó el dolor. Okay. What's being told? How and when the pain started. So that's the direct object. We're not going to fool with that. To who is that being told? To me. Okay, favor de contar a mí. So here's our indirect object. That's going to get replaced with me, but where's it going to go? Contar is infinitive. It's not conjugated. And so where will we put this me? Right at the end. This is going to become favor de contarme, favor de contarme un poco más sobre cómo y cuándo empezó el dolor. Okay, great. You're seeing how this goes. Más práctica. El paciente cuenta la historia del problema a la recepcionista. What's being told? La historia del problema. That's the direct object. To whom? A la recepcionista. This is going to get replaced with le. El paciente le cuenta la historia del problema. And we no longer need a la recepcionista, as long as we know we're talking about la recepcionista. Okay? Bien. La recepcionista dice al paciente que necesita contar la historia a la sociedad médica. Okay, so what's going on here? The receptionist tells the patient that he needs to tell the history to the PA. Okay, so la recepcionista tells the patient, le dice al paciente, if we needed to clarify, but it's not necessary. La recepcionista le dice que necesita contar la historia, tell the history. Okay, that's the direct object. To whom? To the PA. So we have to get two in this one. Que necesita contarle la historia a la sociedad médica gets replaced with this le here, and it's attached at the end because contar is infinitivo. All right, final one. Cuente a mí. ¿Qué pasó a usted? We're going to replace two indirect objects here. Tell me, what happened to you? Cuente a mí. That's a command. So what's that going to turn into? It's going to turn into cuénteme. Cuénteme. ¿Qué pasó a usted? What happened to you? What can we replace here? Usted. How can we replace that? ¿Qué le pasó? ¿Qué le pasó? And we no longer need the a usted. Okay, bien. Los complementos indirectos son difíciles. Step one, as you're getting used to direct objects and indirect objects, is to listen for them as you're speaking with your Spanish-only patients. Is to listen for how they're used and to just track with them and to understand that when they're saying le or me or te, it's referring to something, and they say darle, that's not a new word that you've never heard before. That's a combination of dar and then to someone that you need to sort of separate in your mind. That's step number one. Step number two is then beginning to implement, beginning to move from the English construction, dar a Juan las medicinas, and move to darle las medicinas. That's step number two. So take some time and review la lección. We'll put some more practice activities when we get the blog post going for you to take a look at and work on. Bien, well that's all we have for today. It is projecting snow tonight, actually. We are in the end of April here in Denver, and we're going to get snowed on tonight. But that's living in the Rockies. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being a part of this community, learning medical Spanish, and thanks for taking the time and the effort to invest in your own Spanish language skills. It really does make a difference with your Spanish-only patients. Hasta luego! Hey, thank you for joining me today on this Video Viernes lesson. I wanted to invite you to join our community if you're not a member of the Facebook group already, that I deliver these live lessons in on most every Friday. And also point you to the website where you can find a bunch more information about medical Spanish, whether that be courses or free materials for you, or finding a private tutor to work with you online or face-to-face. And also let you know about some amazing Spanish immersion programs, either you as a medical person or your significant other as working in some other industry, or your family. If you want to improve your Spanish and you have time and budget to go do some travel, our programs are pretty amazing. I think it'd be fun to work with you. And finally, if you have some document work at your clinic or at your hospital or within your setting that needs to be professionally translated, shoot me a message, upload your document to us, and we can get you a quick quote and help you out with your Spanish language documents as well. Have a great day.